Welcome, students, to the second part of Economic Development presented by Gracian Mesquita. In the previous part, we looked at the implementation of the 5-year plan from the first 5-year plan to the fourth 5-year plan. The images used in this video are taken from the internet.
Our learning objectives for today will be the fifth 5-year plan, the sixth 5-year plan, the seventh 5-year plan, the eighth 5-year plan, the ninth 5-year plan, nationalization of banks, and the 20-point program. In the fourth 5-year plan, we saw how our economy faced a lot of problems because of the Bangladesh war. Now, the fifth 5-year plan began from the year 1974 to 1979. The fifth 5-year plan mainly focused on removing poverty and making India a self-sufficient country, which means that it did not need to trade with other countries and it could produce its own goods and services. The objectives of this plan was based on increasing the national income and employment opportunities, that is, making jobs available for people. The other objectives of this plan focused on promoting education, supplying healthy and nutritious food, drinking water, as well as supplying electricity, developing the communication sector, and developing good hospitals for medical treatment in the rural areas of our country. Agricultural development was the same objective that was carried on in the previous plans as well as to increase basic industries such as the clothing industry, iron and steel industry, as well as the making wooden toys. Now, making food grains and other household products available to the public at reasonable price was also one of the objectives. One example of this is the rationing system. The ration shops of our country, which sells rice, wheat, and other food grains at cheaper rates as compared to the private vendors. Children, as you studied about the emergency period in your previous chapter, that period also played a very important role in our fifth 5-year plan. So in 1975, our Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi called for emergency, due to which the Congress party lost a lot of its supporters. Now, taking advantage of this, the Janata Party decided to hold elections again in the year 1977. And the Janata Party won the elections of 1977 with its alliance with different parties. When the Janata Party came into power, they terminated the fifth 5-year plan and launched its own sixth 5-year plan, which was called a rolling plan. Now, the meaning of the rolling plan was every year the performance of the plan will be assessed and a new plan will be made next year based upon the previous year's assessment. Well, you could see the alliance in the Janata Party was very weak. Hence, the president that time, Mr. Neelam Reddy, decided to dissolve the Lok Sabha in the year 1979. Hence, Re-elections for the Lok Sabha were held in January 1980, in which the Congress party won the elections. Once the Congress party won the elections, they decided to terminate the plan of the rolling plan brought by the Janata Party and continued with the 5-year plans that was decided before. After the Congress won the elections in 1980, the implementation of the sixth 5-year plan also began from the very same year, that is, from the year 1980 to 1985. The sixth 5-year plan also focused on removing poverty and increasing more job opportunities. There were different objectives to this plan. It focused on increasing the growth rate of our economy, that is, to increase the productions of goods and services in our economy, as well as to reduce poverty and unemployment, as well as to control population growth. So there was a new policy for population, how families should adopt short family norms and not increase the population so that it could stay under control. There were different programs implemented by the government that time. First was the Integrated Rural Development Program, then the National Rural Employment Program, Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, and a Salem steel plant, which was established by the Government of India. Starting off with the first program, that is the Integrated Rural Development Program, focused on improving the social and economic conditions of the rural people in our country. It was launched in the year 1980 on the 2nd of October across the country. It aimed at providing employment opportunities to the poor as well as to increase their income. The second program, the National Rural Employment Program, was implemented in the year 1980s as well, along with the Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, which was introduced in the year 15th August 1983. Now these two programs again focused on employment factors. So the first three programs, that is the Integrated Rural Development Program, the Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, and the National Rural Employment Program, focused on providing employment opportunities, that is job opportunities for the poor people living in the rural areas. Now the Salem steel plant was established by the Government of India in the year 1981. It produced stainless steel and it is located in Tamil Nadu. Salem is a place located in Tamil Nadu. So the next 5-year plan was the 7th 5-year plan. The 7th 5-year plan began from the year 1985 to 1990. Now this plan focused on the production of goods as well as food as well as providing employment. So the objectives of the plan was the development of the country, that is development of various industries, factories as well as machines, technology, etc. Modernization also was one of the objectives of the 7th 5-year plan, that is using advanced equipments like other countries, that is advanced machines, advanced technology. Another objective of this 7th 5-year plan was social justice, that is basically to empower the backward class of our country. So in the year 1985-86, the Ministry of Welfare was divided into different departments, like the Department of Women and Child Development, the Scheduled Caste Development Division, even for the tribes, the Tribal Development Division, and so on and so forth. Now there were some programs that were introduced in the 7th 5-year plan as well. The Jawar Rozgar Yojana, the India Awas Yojana, and the scheme of 10 lakh wells. So basically, the Jawahar Rozgar Yojana was launched at the end of the 7th 5-year plan. That was on the 1st of April 1989. Now, this employment program basically emerged by mixing the previous programs, that is, the programs which were introduced in the 6th 5-year plan, that is, the Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program and the National Rural Employment Program were merged together to introduce the Jawahar Rozgar Yojana. Jawahar is basically a place in Maharashtra. Then the scheme of 10 lakh wells, basically to develop wells in different rural areas of India as well. So the 7th 5-year plan proved to be very important from the point of view of generating a lot of job opportunities. Well, the next 5-year plan was the 8th 5-year plan, which began in the year 1992 and ended in 1997. Now, there is a reason why we began the 8th 5-year plan so late. That is, we had a 2 years gap. Well, the 8th 5-year plan was going to be introduced in the year 1990. But there were changes in the government at the center, with Vishwanath Pratap Singh becoming our prime minister in 1989, and thus the shift of power, as well as India was facing economic crisis. There were a lot of economic problems that India was facing during that time as well, due to the Gulf War. Thus, the 8th 5-year plan started off in the year 1992. So this plan had the following objectives. It was to increase the growth in national income up to 6.5%, as well as to control and get our population growth under control. Thus, it introduced a program for family planning, as well as to remove illiteracy, that is, to spread education, basic education, primary education to all the people. And the following programs were introduced that year, that is, the Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, the Mahila Samriddhi Yojana, the Rashtriya Samajik Arthik Sahaya Yojana, the Midday Meal Scheme, the Indira Mahila Scheme, the Ganga Kalyan Scheme. Basically, these programs focused on child and women development, employment opportunities, and basically some of them were introduced for women so that women could excel, women could come into like stand for themselves. Now, the 8th 5-year plan also gave importance to the private sector. That is, the plan was to give freedom to private industries, that by adopting the free market policy. The term liberalization is used, liberal meaning freedom. Thus, private sector got more freedom in opening up and setting up industries during the 8th 5-year. So basically, with the introduction of the free market policy adopted in 1991 in the 8th 5-year plan, it continued in the next 5-year plan as well. So the 9th 5-year plan began from the year 1997 to 2002. The priority given in this plan was to agriculture and rural development, with a view to provide job opportunities and to remove poverty, as well as to accelerate or increase the growth rate of our economy with stable prices. Stable prices, meaning it could very reasonable prices, affordable prices. It also focused on creating healthy competition in the infrastructure sector. Now, when we speak about infrastructure, it's basically general term for a business, a region, or a nation. For instance, like for example, the transportation systems, or the water system, the electrical systems, the communication systems. So healthy competitions for the private sectors to work towards growing of our infrastructure of our country. Also to give a new direction to the development of industries through the industrial policies, that is by foreign investments. When I speak about foreign investment, it basically means other countries, abroad countries, investing into our industries. There were the following programs and schemes that were introduced even in the ninth 5 year plan. That was the Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rozgar Yojana, Bhagyashri Child Welfare Policy, Raj Rajeshwari Mahila Kalyan Yojana, Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana, Jawahar Gram Samruddhi Yojana, Antyodaya Anna Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Now, when you listen to these programs, the terms will seem big, but if you understand them in English, it's basically the development of our infrastructure, roads, employment opportunities for women, growth opportunities for women, and also child development schemes. The ninth 5 year plan focused on the progress of the communication system and, as I said before, infrastructural activities of our country. Now, there was a growth in the field of construction and communication during the ninth 5 year plan. The next topic we'll be looking at is the nationalization of banks. The meaning of nationalization is transfer to the public sector, or that is owned by the government. So, when our Prime Minister Pandit Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri were ruling our country, so there was a monopoly of the private sector owning the banks. Now, monopoly also means ownership or controlled by the private sector. These banks represented different industrial groups, and the directors of these banks were working towards the developing of industrial sectors and increasing its profits. So basically, the banks were owned by different industries, and they were mostly private industries, and the heads were handling the profits that were coming out of these industries as well as the banks. Now, speaking of the Imperial Bank was the first bank to be nationalized in the year 1955. So the Imperial Bank was formed joining three banks. That was the Bank of Bengal, the Bank of Bombay, and the Bank of Madras. And the Imperial Bank was formed on Jan 27th, 1921. It was nationalized and came under government's control in the year 1955, and it got converted to what we know it as today, the State Bank of India. It has various branches all across the country. Now the question goes to, why was it important to nationalize these banks? Well, you know that India adopted a mixed economy after independence. Thus, nationalization of banks was essential to cover the deficits if they occurred while implementing different schemes. Now, the word deficit means losses. If India was falling short of money while implementing the different programs as discussed in all the different 5 year plans, hence it would be easier to take money from the government treasury that would come from these banks that were nationalized. So we also see that in the fourth 5 year plan, there were banks that were nationalized by the government. It was nationalized by our own Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on the 19th of July 1969. These banks included the Bank of Allahabad, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, Bank of Maharashtra, Canara Bank, Central Bank of India, Dena Bank, Indian Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Punjab National Bank, Syndicate Bank, Union Bank of India, United Commercial Bank, United Bank of India, as well as in the year 1980, there were six more banks that were nationalized and were added to this list. Hence, nationalization became very important for the government so that the profits that came out from this bank would go into the government treasury, and the government could use this money for the development of our country. The policy of developing small scale industries and pharmaceutical industries also had to be implemented. What do you mean by small scale industries? Basically, those industries which manufacture and provide services and production on a small scale or micro scale. Examples of these industries can be the napkins, tissues, chocolates, water bottles, etc. Pharmaceutical industries are basically those industries that create drugs for medical purposes, such as your medication used in the hospital, medical tablets. These come under pharmaceutical industries. Now, in the year 1964, Lal Bahadur Shastri undertook the experiment of Green Revolution. Green Revolution is related to the agricultural sector of our industry. He undertook the Green Revolution basically because of the problems that our agricultural industry was going through back in the day. Thus, after his death in the year 1966, Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister. She also was totally committed to the improvement of agriculture and how to develop the agriculture industry. She also introduced the Congress Forum for Socialist Action, where this forum means a meeting where people come together and discuss on a particular topic. For socialist action basically means for the people, for the welfare of the workers, for the welfare of the laborers. So a group was formed and ideas were discussed there of how to improve the lifestyle of the laborers or workers in different industries. And one demand was made in it where it was put forward that the nationalization of commercial banks should be done. Now, commercial banks are basically banks in which the workers or the people can deposit their money as well as take loans from these banks, just like our modern day banks. So, the Communist Party of India, present in India during that time, also agreed to the nationalization of commercial banks. We are going to talk about is the 20-point program. The 20-point program was initiated by our former Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, on the 1st of July 1975. The main motive of this program was the development of our country. The main provisions of the 20-point program are as follows. First, the land ceiling for cities and agriculture. That is the equal distribution of land for the cities and agricultural sector, so that the agricultural sector does not have less land. The second is equal division of wealth, that is equal distribution of wealth among workers. Third is the minimum wages for workers. Wages are basically people who earn on daily basis every day for their work based on the amount of hours they spend. So minimum wages is where they can buy their food and water, what they need for their daily living. Increase in water conservation schemes, where the government started in saving water, like creating dams and making reservoirs, all these for the agricultural sector. The next one is workers' participation in industries. Basically, workers' participation means where the workers' suggestions and opinions were heard by the managers. The national training scheme. This is applied till today in our jobs, where the workers are given job training before they can begin working in a industry, a factory, or a company. Freeing bonded labor. Bonded labor is basically a person who has taken debt from a money lender, like a small poor farmer has taken loan from a money lender or the bank. And you know how they cheat the money lenders, we call it in Hindi udhar dene wale. So how they cheat and they take the land before the loan term could end. The next one is the prevention of tax evasion. Tax evasion basically means where people don't pay their taxes on time. If they are earning very highly, so there is something known as income tax, and if they are not paying that on time, that is called as tax evasion. Economic crimes means our present day corruption, our black money, and smuggling. Smuggling is basically illegal transport of goods and services inside the country, or sending them the country. The next thing is regulation of prices of basic necessities. This is basically where our commodities can be bought at affordable prices. Our food, our home necessity items, where if it's too high, only the rich class will be able to buy. So, what about the poor class? Improvement in the public distribution systems, improvement in the textile industry by developing the handloom sector. What do you mean by the handloom sector? Where you make pure cotton cloth by weaving thread together, just like Gandhiji used the charka. So, improvement in the textile industry, that is the clothing sector. Waiving loans for weaker sections of the society. That means giving loans for the poor people who want to start their small businesses, or who need money for their agricultural purposes. As well as housing. Housing is for, again, the poor backward people who cannot afford a house because of their low income. So the government should make some schemes, so that they can at least have one small house for themselves. The communication facilities, as well as making educational equipment available to schools. So basically, if schools are developed, what can be the educational equipments? Starting with benches for the students to sit, the books, and the blackboard. So these are your educational equipments or educational things that a student needs inside the school for good learning. So these were the main provisions of the 20-point program. Students, today we looked at the 5-year plans, from the 5th 5-year plan to the 9th 5-year plan, as well as the programs implemented in these 5-year plans. We also talked about the nationalization of banks, from the first bank that was nationalized, that is the Imperial Bank, which got converted to the present day State Bank of India. We also looked at the 20-point program. Let's discuss and revise what did we understand from today's session. So can any of you tell me, what were the programs that were implemented in the 8th 5-year plan? Well, you're right. The 8th 5-year plan began from the year 1992 to 1997, and there were different programs that were implemented by the government. That is the Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, Mahila Samriddhi Yojana, Midday Meal Scheme, Indira Mahila Scheme, Ganga Kalyan Scheme, and so on. You are right. Can you explain me the concept of a 20-point program? Well, the 20-point program was introduced by our former Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, in which she discussed how we can boost the economic development of our country. The main provisions of this program was on housing, on land, on agriculture, as well as different industries, traders, workers, wages, water conservation, and so on. So I hope you understood what we discussed today, and I will see you for the next module.